In this video, I'm going to walk you through the solution to exercise 910 from the textbook. Exercise 910 is a bank reconciliation. If you've seen the one from the previous video, this should be pretty straightforward stuff. There is one little wrinkle in this one, and that's why I'm kind of walking you through it. Remember, a bank reconciliation is all about figuring out which things we've recorded that the bank doesn't know about yet, and the things that the bank has recorded that we don't know about yet, because if we all knew about everything, we'd all agree on what the bank balance was. Exercise 910 actually goes across a couple of pages in the textbook, page 470 and page 471. So let's take a look at page 471 where it says what we're required to do. Page 471, the required is prepare a bank reconciliation for July the 31st. And then prepare the necessary journal entries. We're not going to do the journal entries in this video. I'll save that for another video, but we will actually prepare the bank reconciliation for July 31st. And so to get you started, as you know, this form is available online. It's actually the Video Busters form that we were using in the previous video. I just kind of cleaned it up and gotten rid of the stuff for Video Busters, and now we'll do the reconciliation for Pelzer Holdings. Now remember, it says we're supposed to do the bank reconciliation for July 31st. Okay, so what shall be? We will do the bank reconciliation for July the 31st. Do they tell us a year? And the answer is no, so we'll just, oh, actually they do, look at that. 2011, so July 31st, 2011. Now, if you looked quickly at the problem, you may have noticed that at the very beginning they show you a bank reconciliation. On page 470, there's a nice little bank reconciliation for Pelzer Holdings, bank rec for June the 30th, 2011, not July 31st. We need to do the one for July 31st. So apparently this company's been in operation for a while, and we did a bank reconciliation last month. There wasn't much to it. The bank balance, we thought the bank balance was $7,480. The bank initially thought it was $8,000, but they didn't know about a deposit that we had recorded, but they hadn't. It was still outstanding at the end of June, as well as this check number 14, which was outstanding at the end of June. We'd recorded it in our books, but the bank hadn't recorded it because the person that we wrote the check for hadn't shown up yet. Alrighty, so the starting point for a bank reconciliation, if you have this basic form, is we start off with the bank balance and then try to figure out what they don't know about yet, and we start with the book balance, our balance, and try to figure out what things the bank has recorded that we haven't yet. So let's just fill in the book balance and the bank balance, and how do we find those? Well, the bank balance comes from the bank statement, and that's on page 471. We see this is the bank statement for Pelzer Holdings. It's from the Bank of Montreal for July the 31st. We see here's a list of all the checks that the bank has put through our account and all the charges. Here's a list of all the deposits they've recorded or increases to our bank account, and they ended up saying that our balance at the end of July was $9,848. So the bank, according to our balance, according to the bank, $9,848. Okay, 98.48. And we'll just leave that there like that for now. And let's figure out what our book balance is. So the information we're given on page 470 shows the general ledger account. It shows the balance of June 30th, and a bunch of debits and a bunch of credits, and the ending balance was $9,740. So let's get that on here, $9,740. So we don't agree, and we're probably both wrong, so we'll work that out. Now I just want to go back to this general ledger for a second. This group of debits, $5,700 in debits, is actually made up of 4 deposits that we made in the month of July that totaled $5,700. In a simpler form, you may see those deposits listed out individually in the general ledger, but here they've just shown us the total and what makes those up. Same with the checks, the credits, the checks, the reductions of our bank account that we've recorded. We wrote 3 checks in the month. Obviously, we're not a very big company. Those checks totaled $3,440, and that reduced our bank balance. All right, so we're trying to figure out then which things we've recorded that the bank hasn't, which things the bank has recorded that we haven't, and so this is where we kind of do a little check-off kind of thing. The easy way to start this is to take a look at from the bank's point of view. In my own personal preference, anyway, lots of people do it differently. So the first thing is, let's take a look at the deposits. Which deposits did the bank manage to get recorded on the bank statement? So there's the deposits according to us, and here's the deposits according to the bank. So the deposits are here. We have this July the 8th, we deposited $770, and there it is right there. So I'm just going to, they're in both places, 1328, both places, 3030, both places. But we made a deposit here, this $572, that apparently the bank hasn't recorded yet. So this is a reconciling item. That $572 is a reconciling item. Okay? So that deposit is outstanding. Now if the bank knew about that, they'd increase our bank account. So we have an outstanding deposit of $572. So 572. If the bank knew about that, they would have increased our bank account, so we'll add it, eventually add it to the balance that the bank thinks we have. So that's the deposits we've recorded that the bank doesn't know about. Let's talk about the checks then. We wrote a check for $1,840, check number 52. Let's see if that's gone through the bank. And we see, son of a gun, check number 52, there it is, $1,840. So the bank has it, and we have it, so we get rid of that one. Check number 53, $1,320, there it is there. Check number 53, $1,320, it's in both places. And check number 54 for $280, we've recorded it, but I don't see any sign of it here in the bank. There's another check and another charge, but no $280. So that is a reconciling item, something that the bank doesn't know about. So where does it go? Well, if the bank knew about it, they would have reduced our bank account. So there's an outstanding check. Number, what number was it? It was number 54 for $280. So that, if the bank knew about that, they'd have subtracted it off of our bank account. Okay, now here's the wrinkle that wasn't in the previous video. At the end of June, we had this outstanding item. The bank hadn't received this deposit, and this check hadn't cleared. Now the bank didn't know about it at the end of June. The question is, have they found out about it since then? Because this deposit, remember, is a deposit that we recorded. It's already recorded in our accounts, but the bank hadn't recorded it as of the end of June. Well, did the bank record it after June, like sometime in July? And if we look at the bank statement, that deposit of $680 is right there. Now, it's on the bank statement, and it's in our records, but not in July. It's in our records in June. But we've recorded it, and the bank has recorded it. So this is no longer a reconciling item. We can ignore that. Also, this deposit of, this outstanding check for $1,200, we'd recorded check number 14, I suspect some time ago, since our numbering is in the 50s now. So check number 14, we recorded it, but the bank didn't know about it at the end of June. Did it go through the bank sometime in July? And if we check the bank's records, I don't see the check here. So apparently that check is still outstanding. So, outstanding check number 14, still outstanding for $1,200. Okay. So that seems to be all the things that we have recorded that haven't gone through the bank yet. But we'll just let that hang for a minute. Let's talk about the things that are on the bank statement that we haven't recorded yet. So we've eliminated all the things. This check number 96 is an interesting animal. We don't seem to have a check number 96. It's way, we're in the 50s right now. So we wonder about that check. So this one we're kind of curious about. And of course an NSF check, you're familiar with that. That's a check that came back with non-sufficient funds. And so we kind of wonder about that one. They tell us a little bit about those things in the notes here. They said, in reviewing the checks returned by the bank, check number 96 was written by Pelzer Holdings. Wait a minute, we're Pelzer Holdings. This is a different company. So apparently they've taken some other company's check out of our account. So that's a problem. And the $240 was an NSF check for a customer of ours, Jim Anderson. So that's a problem too. Okay. In addition to that, is there anything else that's on the bank statement that we haven't stroked out? And no, it's just those two items. So those need to go on our side of the normally go on our side. These are things the bank has recorded that we don't know about. Definitely the NSF check. We're going to have to charge the customer. The bank has rightly taken that money out of our account, and so if we'd known about that, we'd have subtracted off the NSF check. NSF check, $240. The bank subtracted it off. We should subtract that off. Okay. But this check for $560, the bank has recorded it, but they shouldn't have. That's a mistake on the part of the bank. So the question is, well, how do we deal with that? Should we adjust our books? Should we change our records? The answer is no. It's up to the bank to fix their records. And so we're going to phone the bank, now that we know about this $560, we're going to phone the bank and tell them, hey, that's not our check, and would you mind putting the money back in our account? And when the bank finds out about that, they're going to add $560 back into our account, and we'll just call that check error for now. And that's the wrong company. The check is from the wrong company. It's been deducted out of our account by mistake. We want the bank to put the money back in. That's the bank's problem, not our problem. Alrighty, and so the arithmetic will be, we'll add in the things on this side, subtract the things on this side. Over here, we'll take the balance for our books. The only thing we've got to do is subtract off the $240, and hopefully both sides should work out to be $9,500. Okay, and double check the arithmetic. So the two little wrinkles then. One is we had these previous items on a previous bank reconciliation that we also had to take into account. Remember, anything that shows up on the bank side is stuff that we've already recorded. We're waiting for the bank to catch up. They caught up with the $680, but that $1,200 check, still outstanding. Okay, in the next video we'll take a look at what journal entries are necessary as a result of this, and that will wrap up bank reconciliations for us.